Welcome to Real Estate Success Partner. We're your hosts, Devin Dubuc,
David Wynn,
and we're here to talk about how to have great success in every market. Hey, and today, guys, that market is Arkansas, and we've got somebody pretty special. Dave, who'd you bring along today?
a top 1%er, the beautiful Lori Lawhead and her real estate firm. Super excited to have you here, Lori. Welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you guys for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Well, we're excited to get you out here. You know, we always like to bring on folks that are doing something special out there in the industry. And, you definitely fit the bill for that. You're having extraordinary success out there in the industry. But let's talk about this because we know who you are. A lot of times our audience doesn't know who you are. Did you just wake up one day and you were a successful real estate agent? How'd you get your start?
Actually, I moved to the Twin Lakes area here in north central Arkansas in 2006. Okay. And I've kind of always been interested in real estate. My girls were 5 and 7, so it wasn't, something I was quite ready to dive into. Right after we moved here, I found a job in a real estate office, which was a huge blessing. And in 2007, I got my real estate license, which was, when the market crashed. So I really didn't get to mess around doing a lot of listing and selling at that time. But what I did was I did a lot of secretarial stuff, realtor assistant. Then I did a lot of property management. So that kind of really helped me when I finally decided to dive into full-time real estate.
Right.
So that's how I got into it. But I've always been kind of interested in it.
What year was it that you went full-time?
2014.
Okay.
2014.
Right at 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty much 10 years. Oh, it's 10 years this month.
Happy anniversary.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Well, and sometimes cutting your teeth that way is the best way to do it because, you're training that whole time. You're learning all the ins and outs. You're learning the do's and don'ts. You're building relationships because you're there making connections every single day. And at the end of the day, once you get to that point, you go, well, this is it. This is what I should be doing. Right. So I love that. Right. I love that. Well, Lori, sometimes that's just the best way to get started, cut your teeth, doing all the stuff, meeting all the people, the behind the scenes. You're ready to get thrown to the wolves, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know if you're ever ready, but it does. I did have an opportunity to see what it was like doing different jobs, the administrative work. I did a lot of property management. I managed a HUD complex, so I had to deal with a lot of people. And that helped a lot.
So you said 2014 is where you jumped in and not a bad market. That was when things had just started to improve. Right. Yeah. The industry on the mortgage side, we started figuring out, hey, we can lend money again. And and I think it was bad. 2011, 2012, those were tough years because underwriters, they didn't know, can I put my name on this? So you got in at a great time, as far as I think rates were actually pretty good in 2014 as rates go. Right. So, so what'd that look like? So you came in and you said, hey, I'm going to get started. Where did you start building your business from?
I at the time before I went full time, I was over at a little real estate office over in Flippin, Arkansas, and I ended up moving over to a place called Larry Black and Associates in Mountain Home, and I started there full time, and it was rough. Even though I knew people, I had been working in Marion County, which is where Flippin is, and I'd moved over to Baxter County, so I didn't know as many people there. Plus, I was going through a rough time in my life. I questioned the decision to jump into, a commission only job. But I trusted God and I went for it, and it was definitely tough. I did meet another realtor at Larry Black. He was the number one realtor in the area and had been for years. Yeah. He actually needed help. So I, picked up, some money assisting him and learning so much about, contract negotiations, listing, selling, so that when when he and I kind of went separate ways, I just really did great, but I realized that a lot of new realtors don't have that advantage. And I definitely think it helped him quite a bit. I probably wouldn't have been here
Let's talk about that a bit. Jumping into a commission job is tough because you're betting on yourself as opposed to a W-2 income.
Right.
And I kind of want to talk about your struggles a little bit. A deeper dive into the Lori Lawhead. I see you right now as a super successful Lori Lawhead that's been successful for many, many years now. Right. But you just allude to the fact that when you got into this industry, you were struggling. We don't want to do deep dive into those struggles, but I mean, look at you now.
God has to talk about it, though.
That's the important stuff. God has a plan for all of us, and
that's right.
I know now with the way the economy is. I mean, there's people that were highly successful that are barely making it now, and or questioning what to do, whatever the case is. I'd like to get some advice from you, from someone that's been there. That you know, because you brought it up, and I think. I mean, this is what this show is about. People want to, people want to see you.
How do you create success? Yeah.
Yeah. People look at you and go, man, she's always successful. Right. She's never had a hard time, which we know that's not the case. Everybody goes through ups and downs. So let's talk about that a little bit. Let's talk about what the struggles were to get started and commitment to stay in this business.
So I was working in one real estate office and I was laid off from that office. At the same time, probably like a week after I was laid off, my husband and I split up, and I was either going to have to find another job, or I was going to have to follow my dream, which was to become a real estate agent. At that point, I really didn't know so much about the listing and sales side. I was property management. I dealt with tenants. I dealt with, homeowners that had tenants. So it was kind of a whole different, ball game. I really spent some time in prayer before I did that. I had two girls. They were 13 and 15. My husband left. He took everything. He left me with all the bills. So money was kind of a big deal. I knew I wasn't going to make it, on my hourly pay rate. So actually getting laid off was probably the best thing that could have happened to me. I decided to go ahead and jump into full-time sales. I trusted God. At that time, I was, and this is a little personal, but I had to rely on food stamps and I had to rely on our care, health insurance for my kids just to make it. I was left with all the bills, and I paid every bill, paid every single one, made the minimum payment. I started tithing. Tithing is a huge deal. I don't know if you guys tithe, but I believe that. And I was tithing like $54 a week. I was tithing on my unemployment because I was getting unemployment. So I was living off the unemployment commission, and then, the little food stamps that, they help you out with. So it was really tough.
How many years was that, Lori? How many years did that?
So I probably relied on that assistance for, I'd say, less than a year. I started working at Larry Black. It was really hard. You really don't know contracts. You really don't know. I mean, I'd have a sales background, so I had the sales aspect, a little bit down, but the other aspect, I didn't, contract negotiations. I lacked self-confidence, which, always shows when you're in sales. So I had, a lot against me. I did start working with Tim Walker, and it's, that helped me a lot. So within a year, I was off of the food stamps. I had actually paid off, within 2 years, I paid off $15,000 of debt on my own. And that was scary. I was a single mom. I didn't know how I was going to make it. My ex-husband he made more money than I did. He really wasn't wanting to help. But really, that's the grace of God. I mean, so many things happened along the way that helped me that would not have happened if I didn't trust him. I mean, I just know
there was a bigger plan. Yeah, there was a bigger plan for you.
A bigger plan. So, and I still feel that way. So,
thank you very much for sharing that. That might be one of the best stories we've ever had because.
Oh, thank you.
I love it. I love that you just shared that story because it's real. You know what?
It is real. Real.
It's you showed a piece of your heart, you showed a piece of your life, and there's a lot of people out there struggling. There's a lot of people that have questions, what should I be doing? How do I do it? And if you can do it going through all that stuff, my God.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
Oh, you're welcome.
The real in real estate, that might be a different podcast, right? The real in real estate.
The real, and it is real. Yeah. I mean, if you have done this job, I am not kidding you. I've gotten kicked in the teeth, basically. You start off and I've got to pay the bills, so I have to take this listing. I have to deal with this. And people are pretty abusive, you know. Some people can be very abusive. So I had to do things that, man, I don't really want to, I missed a lot of holidays. I mean, I've worked Christmas Eves. I've worked Christmas days. I missed a couple ball games. I tried not to miss too many of those because it hurt to miss those times, but I had to. So it was really tough. You can get real discouraged. You work so hard to get to the end, and then boom, it'll fall apart the day before closing. And that was how I'm going to pay my electric bill. That was how I'm going to pay my rent, So it was really, really tough. I don't know how some realtors make it without, I was really lucky to have a teacher, a mentor. I had a couple mentors.
Yeah. You need a mentor, because at the end of the day, like you said, you get in there and you're not 100% sure how to, work a contract or, how to make sure that you're guiding your clients in the right direction. Right. But that's one thing that we know, Lori, is education builds confidence. Right. Education builds confidence. And when you're latching onto somebody who has that ability to educate you and provide you with that experience, that helps build the confidence that you need to be able to go out there and do the scary thing, which, which you did. And, we're proud, to hear that story because, we're blessed to know somebody like you, that's held themselves to that level of accountability and come out the other side with their head strong saying, I did that. I did that for my family. I did that because I had to. I had a higher power there that was guiding me through the way, even though it was rough. We did it, right? And here you are on the other side, the successful agent that everybody does know. They don't know how hard it was to kickstart that process, right? And, that's one thing Dave and I know is sometimes to become successful, it gets really scary, right? It gets really scary because you just gotta trust in the process and you got to believe in it. Yeah.
I mean, it's taken me probably several years. I don't know about other realtors and I don't know about you guys, but it's always feast or famine. You're either real busy and making a lot of money or you're dead. And it's so hard in the beginning when I was dead to not panic. I'm going to have another job. I don't know. I mean, every year I would say to Tim, I'm going to have to find another job. And he would laugh at me. But I finally could get to the point where, I wake up some mornings and I don't have anything to do, but within the space of 10 minutes, I've got a full day of work. That's it. So, but then I get up some mornings and I don't have anything to do and it stays that way. And I've had to really learn to kind of take advantage of that, and slow down and, have a cup of coffee or go to lunch with friends or just down. Well, otherwise I'm sitting there just waiting next phone call and it's not coming. I've just spent a lot of time stressing out for nothing because it's going to come. Yeah.
Well, one thing Dave and I have found is that the folks out there that have success, a lot of it's spread from the activity, right? It's about making sure that you have the right activity because, as you mentioned, you can sit back and stress about what's not going to happen, or you can create the business by doing the activity, right? To make the success happen. Yeah.
If you call 10 people, you might get one. So if you call 20, then you'll get 2. So it really is a numbers game. And I did a lot of chasing expired listings. I went door to door. I bought candy boxes, little candy boxes. I stuck good candy in there and I hang them on people's doors.
And you ate the bad candy for your kids and you're giving out the good candy to everybody.
They got no candy. No,
they didn't even get the candy.
I did that stuff, I cleaned houses. Yes, I've cleaned houses. I've sweated my butt off cleaning houses to make a little extra money. Right. And I still do stuff like that. I just did a huge mailer earlier this year. I must have spent, I don't know, $6,000 or $7,000, and I sent out thousands of mailers. I didn't get one lead from it. But you know what? I noticed probably a month or so after I did that, listings just came in. Listings have come in, so I figure, hey, I might not have seen anything from that particular
direct result
mailer. But I do believe it's a numbers game. It'll come
what we found is that it's the activity of being in front of those people, right? So you may not always see the immediate results, but when you're in front of the population, right? When you're sending out the mailers, making the phone calls, shooting out the emails, doing the text messages, making the updates happen, and you're in front of them all the time. When they start to think real estate, hey, I might need to sell my house. Guess whose name happens to be top of mind?
Yeah.
It's Lori's.
Right.
It's Lori's.
Right.
Hey, not to get off the subject, but I'm always curious. Was that mailer just your past client database, or was it just to everyone?
Man, I just picked the best areas in our area, the ones that I love the most that I wanted to sell or list in. You know, so I couldn't do the entire area, so I just picked my favorites.
There you go.
Yeah. I have not done a mailer, so that was my first mailer. Which I don't know if I'll do it again, but maybe. So,
if you need some pinpoints on that, I might know a guy that's done a whole lot of mail. Really? Yeah, I used to send out anywhere from 100 to 200,000 mailers a month. So I know direct mail really well. And if you'd ever like, some pinpoints, just, hey, do this next time, or, hey, you could save some money by going this direction with it. I'm happy to share some secrets with you. We always love to empower, our relationships with knowledge. We think it's important. So,
Oh yes, absolutely. I mean, whatever you can give to other people, knowledge wise, is great. It's serving.
Yeah,
can't keep it all yourself. That's not nice.
Well, let's talk about that family life. I think you have two daughters. Is that right?
We have 3 daughters, but they're all grown. One just graduated from the University of Boulder in Colorado. She's a speech therapist. Go. The other one, my baby, is my assistant. And then our middle daughter, Chloe, she's living in Fayetteville, working with a florist and just living her life. So they're all doing really good.
That's awesome. And then we talked earlier, your husband now today, y'all been married for how long?
We've been married 8 years. 8 years last month.
Congratulations.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
So you brought him into the business about 5 years ago. Your daughter's part of your team. Is that it? It's just the 3 of y'all?
It's just the 3 of us. And then Peglar Real Estate Group. I mean, I've worked for several brokerages, and I can't say enough great things about Peglar Real Estate Group. We are the number 1 brokerage in the area. So last year we sold 136 million, and the next second brokerage sold something like 86. So, I can't really, it's just so important that you trust and like the people that you work with. I can go to any one of them and say, hey, what do you think about this? And I'm going to get an honest answer. We help each other out. We don't stab each other in the back. Our office, our broker. And I mean, it's just really important to them that we all get along. And, that's kind of a big deal. I've worked in offices where it wasn't quite like that. And that can really affect your mental, and stuff.
We call them core values. We think it's important that you have core values for your organization, and that everybody understands and respects those core values, because that's how you build something special, So when you align yourself with that right group, you just know. And Lori, it sounds like you've aligned yourself with a really special group.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And you guys are there to push each other, and hold each other accountable. We call each other our accountability partners, because I know, when I'm not having a great day, I'm going to get a phone call from Dave going, hey, Devin, brother, what can I do to help you out? Like you seem like there's something on your mind, and vice versa. Hey, Dave, you seem like something's bothering you, brother. What can I do for you? And we push each other to have success in our lives, and not just in our business lives, but in our personal lives too. Right.
Yep. Yeah. That's how we are over at Peglar. We're all really good friends. And, I can't say enough great things about working there. I love it.
So. That's awesome. Well, so, family is now in the business. You guys are wildly successful. Kids are grown up, right? Let's talk about that transformation. So what shifted in the business? What do where do you finding today that business is coming from that, you were having to dig so hard for, 10 years ago? Where did the shift come from?
I'd say probably 95% of my business is referral business, past clients or, clients who've referred, and I've gotten, business from other people doing research. I researched online the best agent to work with, and your name came up, and we wanted to meet with you and potentially work with you. So I've, gotten a lot of that. I still do floor time. We all have to do floor time. Yep. And so I've gotten a couple good floor leads, but most of my stuff is referral business. So. going out and getting it. Sometimes I go out and get it and I don't, but,
So the referral stuff, I was going to say, do you do any type of get-togethers with your referral folks? What kind of processes do you have in place?
I wish I had time to do that. I really don't have time. I work a lot, and then the time that I'm not working, I have a dog. He's a puppy. He needs my attention, and I have to have my husband, and I need some time. So I really I don't have time to do as much networking, business networking as I'd like. I do. I'm on the board here, so I do some of that work and meet people that way. In church, meet a lot of people through church.
It's powerful.
So I really wish I had time. I do. Me and my daughter started doing this small business spotlight thing, just for fun. So I'm doing some of that, and that has really kind of helped, just with marketing and stuff. So
keeps your name out there, keeps your name present in the community. And that's important. People need to know how to get in touch with you. And as you mentioned earlier, people want to do business with people they know, like, and trust. Right.
Right.
And, what you've built is you've built a reputation as somebody that people can trust. And we already know why it's so easy to get to know and like you, because you're just a pretty awesome, pretty special person, Well,
I'm going to say this. I'm so glad that we all got to open up and do this.
Oh,
because
me too.
One of the things I say all the time is in our business, I've reached a point now in my career. I don't want to do business with everybody. Not everybody's for us. We attract the people that we want to work with.
Right. Exactly.
It seems like all my clients are awesome now.
Me too.
And I'll be real frank with you. The ones that aren't, I can't believe I'm saying this from a sales guy, but I've actually said, "Hey, we're not a match. I think you should go find someone else." And it's really hard to do because we're in sales, right? That's how we make our living. But you're supposed to be with the people that you're supposed to be. I love that you talk about God. I talk about God. He's a very important part of my life. And the fact that you went down that road, the people that listen to it, I can tell you right now, Lori, the people that listen to this podcast and is looking for a realtor, they're going to find you by droves. You are their people. And the people
that's funny. That's what I've gotten a lot of. Yeah.
And the people that are like, ooh, Lori, you don't want them to call you anyways. I can't believe exactly. So I think that is awesome. I think you are throwing out your story today and talking about, I know we talk a lot about real estate, but just talk about you. I can tell you right now, I know why you're successful. You're in Arkansas and you're genuine and you're real and you're raw and it just comes across. I mean, even on this podcast, I can't imagine being with you, looking at how much you care, going to help them find the largest purchase of your life. I mean, if I'm looking for a home in Arkansas, there's only one person I'm calling is Lori.
Oh, you're sweet. Yeah, that's sweet. So
what's on the horizon? What's on the horizon, right? What do you got going on in the future? You've got kids out of the house. You've got one that's joined the family business, right? Where are you taking this thing? What's the game plan?
I really don't have an end game right now. I just want to serve other people. There are a lot of people that want to live here. I believe that God wants people here. So I want to just keep doing what I'm doing, helping people if they want to move over this way or they want to sell, raise my daughter to, train her. I mean, I eventually would like to retire, and I see a lot of realtors who they want to retire, but it's so hard to do that, because once you build. Yeah, and then it's hard for me to say no. I could see myself working till I'm 80, but I might not want to do that. So I think I'm having my daughter, slowly learning the business. Maybe 5 or 10 years from now, she could take over some, and I could still help her, but I would have a little more time to just, I don't know, enjoy the fruits of my labor. Just whatever.
You're not retired. I can tell right now you love it, Lori.
Yeah, I love what I'm doing. I don't consider it work. I mean, I know you've heard that saying, do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life. Right. It is absolutely true. Yep. I love what you do.
You may not work 40, 50 hours a week, but you're going to do this to the day you die.
That's what I'm shooting for, not having to work, and since Kylie started, she's been full-time for about a year now. And it's helped a lot. I've got to actually, I went to a church conference in Tennessee last weekend, so I was able to leave the area, during the busy season. It's awesome. God's been really good to me too. I didn't have too much to do. I still had to work. But I had Kylie here to kind of, pick up the slack for not being able to be, present. So
that's right.
Yeah, that's kind of, I guess right now, that's really what I'm just looking to do.
You're just loving it. Yeah. You've built something great, and now you're getting a chance to, you still work hard, but you've got processes in place that allow for you the opportunity to get out and enjoy life when you want to, and know that the business is still happening in the background, even when you're not there. And that's important. You're right. That's important because you got to have that time with your significant other.
Right.
And that time for yourself. We're here for a short period of time, and we definitely need to enjoy the ride. It's so important.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yes,
well, 100%. It's funny. You mentioned, Dave, we had that guest on a couple of weeks ago, and she had done business here in Dallas, and then she transitioned back to her hometown. And I think Dave, what do you think? She was probably in her late 60s, maybe early 70s. She was getting up there.
Yeah.
She's not quitting. She has no interest whatsoever. Yeah. She's a big part of the city. She's pillar in the town. Everybody knows who she is. And she does things, with the local boards and associations. And she does no interest at all. She said, no, this is what I love to do. Why would I change? She's still showing houses.
I'll share your story
too.
Yeah. I have a lady in Atlanta, Georgia. Her name is Connie Smith. She's 87 years old. She can no longer drive, and she makes her husband drive her to the listings. And the only listings that she goes to now, or the only showings that she goes to, are referrals from her client base. Like great, she's now into great grandkids.
Wow.
And she just says, I can't, and she doesn't even do it for the commission. She ends up giving like half her commission away. She just does it because she wants to help them out. And she'll call me up and go, hey, can we? I go, what a great
selfless.
Life.
Selfless.
Hey guys, it's Devin
and David.
We're your real estate success partners. Hey, if you're enjoying these podcasts and want us to keep bringing back this content, we truly appreciate you following us. But if you could go below and subscribe or make some comments, we'd truly appreciate it. And we'll keep bringing back great content in 2024.
That's special. I think that's what's so special about this industry, though, because sure, we get compensated, but at the end of the day, we know that every person that we communicate with, we're helping that family into their home, into their financial success, into building wealth long term. And I think when you're able to do that and do that every day, there's no wonder why you love what you do, Lori. You're making dreams come true, and you get to do it every day. You get to do it every day. It's special.
Yeah, I think that's important. I think I was telling my husband the other day that I'm at the point now where I don't have, like you were saying, I don't have to help everyone who calls me. But I've got people who call me, and my paycheck at the end of the day is going to be $300, and I'm still going to do the same amount of work as if it were $3,000. But I don't care. I'm still going to do it because I care about that person. They need my help, and that's what I'm equipped to do. So I do think it's important that I've never really had my eye on the bottom line. The bottom line's important. I've put my kids through college. I've done all the things I've wanted to do, but I think what has always been most important to me is just helping people accomplish what they want to accomplish.
Awesome.
So
it's amazing.
We've got a lot of changes coming up in our industry. So
we do.
That's going to be fun.
I want to talk about that. Yeah. Last year was an off year last 2 years was an off year for a lot of people. Not for you, Lori. What made you so successful?
Last year, the last 2 years were my best 2 years.
That's what I'm saying. The last 2 years have been the worst 2 years in real estate, and I pull your numbers up. They're two of your best years. What was that? Why do you think that is? I think
part of it is, I want to really say part of it is the area. We're in the country, so I think that, we don't have I'm sorry, what were we going to say?
Well, touch on that too. Make sure you talk about the area, because we know a lot about what your neck of the woods has to offer. It's beautiful out there.
Beautiful.
Explore that a little bit. Talk about, what is that community, right?
Oh, I'd love to. So, we are considered the country. I was born and raised in San Diego, so I'm familiar with what the city's like. This This is nothing like it. We don't have any major freeways running through here. So it's a different ball game. You've got, the air is very clean and fresh. We've got the Twin Lakes, Bull Shoals Lake, Norfolk Lake. We've got the White River, Buffalo River, the Norfolk River. So there's lots of outdoor, things you can do. Hiking, Buffalo Point, Indian Rock House. I mean, it's if you're into the outdoors, it is a beautiful place to live. If you're not into the outdoors, it's still a beautiful place to live. It's cheaper to live here than some other places. The people are really great. I moving here from the city, I remember my first year here, people would wave at me and I didn't know who they were. And I'm like, why is that person waving at me? I didn't realize that there are just people who are friendly. Because if you were born and raised, people don't look at each other. It's almost for your own safety.
That's right.
Here it's different. You'll almost never meet a stranger. You can be, as friendly as you want to be. I can stay to myself and no one's going to bother me. So it's a beautiful, great place to live. Before the pandemic, then this, I think it's still kind of this way. It's mostly a retiree area. Yeah. Most people have gone and made their money and they're ready to slow down, cheaper taxes, easier life. They've moved out here. But since the pandemic, internet's gotten better out here. We finally got, fiber optic internet, and just in the last, 5 or 6 years, maybe. So that has changed some stuff around here. And then when they made everybody work from home, and then they didn't tell everybody come back, hey, it's good. You just stay where you're at. That opened up the door for more families to move here where they can raise their kids. Which that was one of the reasons I wanted to move here. My kids were 5 and 7. We lived in Vegas. We lived out in Vegas, and my youngest, when she was 3, saw one of those billboards, with the girls' butts, the dancing girls' butts. And he said, "Am I going to do that when I grow up?" And I was like, No, we'd gone to art. We'd come up here. My parents retired up here, so we'd been up here once or twice. And I thought, this is where I want to raise my kids. Smaller schools, cleaner air, less crime. There were just so many reasons. So since the pandemic, I have seen more families being able to being able to move up this way because they can still do their job and make a decent thing and do it from home as long as they have a high-speed internet. So that's kind of changed a little bit, our area. I think that helps. I think that has helped to keep us pretty steady.
I think it's become less of a vacation style home or retirement style location to more of a anytime. You can live here now in this slice of heaven.
Yes, I'm so lucky that I live here. Yeah. And it is. I think that everyone that moves here and stays, because I've seen people move here and after a month, 2 months, 3 months, like I gotta go. I can't do this. But the ones
it's a different way of life. It is. It is.
It's way different. The people are different. Yeah. There's just so many things that are different. You don't have like that.
Instant gratification,
we
right?
We like Starbucks in the Harps.
Yeah.
So, and we've grown. We used to. The place has grown a lot, but you just really don't. There's not a bunch. I think we have one movie theater. Yeah. And I know movie theaters are probably going by the way, but there's not a lot. We don't have a mall. Yeah. We don't have
but you don't need it. You don't need it. You don't need it.
Raising my kids without a mall nearby. But there are some people who
economically, it's amazing.
Yeah. I've got some clients. I've got one now. I listed his house. I'm going to probably have it on the market in a couple of weeks. I met him a few years ago, and he moved here from, I want to say, Michigan. Mm-hmm. So he moved here because his parents passed away, and he didn't really like it then. Well, that's 2 years ago. 2 years later, he calls me. He still doesn't really like it. He's enjoyed it for a couple of years. It's been kind of nice. I got this, but I'm ready to go back where there's theater and culture and stuff to do. And so I'm going to help him, sell his house so he can go back to where he will be happier. And,
I think it's all about what you're looking for, and I think, an area like, cause I'm from a small town, and it's not small, it's small-ish town in Kansas, and if you're looking for, wholesome values and just, like you said, good people, if you want to get a wave when you're driving down the street and it's not the middle finger, maybe, maybe get out of the city and go, go enjoy a little slower life. But it's about, it goes back to, like you said, the rivers and the mountains. I mean, Arkansas is a beautiful state. And if you haven't had a chance to go, there's a reason why people are stopping and going, hey, wait a minute, let's make this the permanent home. And that's why you're seeing that. And it's
You're
awesome.
Right. I mean, I've got clients who they're ready to buy here, and they're like, I've been coming here for 20 years. My parents have taken me. We've always stayed here in Norfolk. We've gone on this lake. This is my 21st year coming out here. I'm ready to move and live there. Yeah. So there is a lot of that,
I love that. Well, Lori, we've taken a lot of your time today, and we know you're super busy. What did we not tackle today that we should have?
I think we hit all the bases. I think it's a great place to live. I love my job. I know why I'm here. I know that I wouldn't be anywhere without God. I wouldn't have anything I have without God. So I hope everyone else who's listening knows God, and that He is as real to them as you are to me. So,
amen.
Yeah.
Lori, you're just a special kind of awesome.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much for letting me come and visit with you guys. I was a little nervous, but it's been pretty fun.
Well, it's pretty fun, right? Everybody says that.
They always think they're like this big, scary podcast, and like we get on and they're like, this was enjoyable. I actually had a great time. So I love that.
I mean, I'll probably listen to it and be like, why? I don't like how I sound. You know how you don't like the sound of your own voice.
But I'm going to tell you something. This is a big secret. Our mentor, we have mentors as well. Big secret our mentor taught us, and you're going to go, well, that's just stupid, but it makes so much sense. He said, a lot of people have a hard time doing video because they go, man, I don't like the way I look. I don't like the way I sound. And you know what he says? He says, well, that's the way you sound. That's the way you look. You just don't realize that. And he said, you know what? You don't go out in public and put a bag on your head and say, hey, please don't look my way, right? You don't just not talk to people in public, right? Hey, I'll go this. No, it's how we sound. It's how we look. And when you get past that, and this gentleman, he's great because, like me, he's not the most handsome guy in the world. He's got what God gave him, right? But at the end of the day, he's made a huge living out of doing just that, just doing video, because guess what? He talks to people from the heart, and that's what people care about, So the stuff we covered on the show today, man, this is the stuff that really touches people. It's what they want to hear. It's how they get to know you. So now when they look up Lori Lawhead and they go, hey, I think I know her. And then they listen to the podcast, they go, oh, wow, I did not know that. And it's going to change the way people think about you. It does. It's a special thing. So that's one of the reasons Dave and I started the podcast is we want to talk about success, but we also want to talk about failure. Because guess what? What we know is that there's a whole lot of failure behind every success story. And it's those failures that make us who we truly are.
Absolutely. 100%.
Well, there it is. Well, when the folks out there want to find you, we know you're in Arkansas, somewhere around Flippin', Arkansas. And I had to say that because she's
I'm in Mountain Home, Arkansas.
Yeah, not Flippin', Arkansas. She's just flipping properties in Arkansas.
I'm close to Flippin', Arkansas.
I had to say it though. You said Flippin', Arkansas, and I'd never heard of that city, and I was like, oh, I'm using that. I had not.
I mean, they've got the flippin' Church of God there. They've got the flippin' police, the flippin' Walmart.
It's in the flippin' middle of nowhere, so.
It's flippin' for real. My daughter graduated from the flippin' high school.
I'm so glad we went here.
Me too. Well, I hope you guys get to come visit sometime for real.
I'm coming, Lori. I gotta come out there. I'm doing an Arkansas
trip. You better come see me. I'll take you out.
I'm coming.
I'll take you.
We're spending some time together.
So let's make sure we get the right city, though. What's the right city? Where are you out of, and what do you service?
I am living in Mountain Home, Arkansas. I work at Peglar Real Estate Group. You'll find us on Main Street, kitty corner from the Pizza Hut.
There it is.
And of course, we're on Facebook. We've got a website, peglarrealestategroup.com. And I mean, you can probably just, find me on Instagram, LinkedIn. I mean, anywhere.
And that's at Lori Lawhead, right?
Lori Lawhead, Peglar Real Estate Group. Yes.
There it is. Hey, and we're going to put all that down there in the bottom of the screen. So you probably saw that just run right across the screen if you're watching this one. Hey, and if you're not watching, if you're tuning in and listening, hey, make sure you run over to the description and give Lori a call. If you're thinking about relocating and you want to get out there and see some of this beautiful scenery, let me tell you something. It is gorgeous in Arkansas. I may not have been to Flippin', but I've definitely been through the area that Lori represents, and it's God's country out there. It's just absolutely unbelievable. And if you're a local, you probably already know Lori, but now you know a little bit more about her. And hey, make sure you give her a call because she will work really hard and make sure that you have a great experience and you become part of the family, not just another number. She's not doing it for the money. She's doing it because she cares. So thank you so much, Lori. We appreciate you having you here on the show today.
Thank you, guys. Thank
Dave,
you.
Anything you want to say to Lori before we wrap up the show today?
I just want to thank her for being on the show. And if you're looking for homes in Mountain Home, definitely call Lori and her team. You just spent a lot of time with her and found a great house.
Yeah,
yes.
That's right.
Thank you.
And a new great life.
Yes.
Yeah. I love it. Well, good stuff. Thank you again. And we're your real estate success partners. I'm Devin Dubuc.
I'm David Wind.
If you want to check us out, come on over to realestatesuccesspartner.com. Again, that's realestatesuccesspartner.com. Or if you want to catch us on YouTube and see this live and in person, and we think you should, come over to the Dubuc team. You can find us at the Dubuc team on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. We're on all your apps. And hey, please comment. We'd love to hear what you have to say. Make sure you subscribe. And, we appreciate those 5-star reviews. But until the next time, we'll see you then.